every year on October 31st. Millions of people dress up in costumes, light candles, decorate their homes, and go door to door collecting candy. Halloween has become one of the biggest traditions in the modern world. But here's something most people don't know. This night actually began as a celebration of the dead returning to the world of the living. The origins of Halloween go back thousands of years to pre-Christian Europe, to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. For the Celts, who lived in what is now Ireland, England, and Scotland, October 31st wasn't just another night. It marked the end of summer and the beginning of winter, a season they associated with darkness, death, and the unknown. They believed that on this night, the barrier between the living and the dead became thin, even disappeared completely. Spirits of the dead returned to visit their homes, while evil spirits wandered in the darkness, causing harm. To protect themselves, people wore frightening costumes and masks so that wandering spirits wouldn't recognize them. They left food outside their doors, lit huge bonfires to drive away evil, and performed rituals to keep darkness at bay. Sound familiar? Trick-or-treating today is actually the echo of those ancient offerings. Samhain was also a sacred time for the Celtic priests, the Druids. They built massive fires, gathered the community, and made prophecies about the coming year. In every home, hearth fires were put out and then relit using the sacred fire from the Samhain celebrations. It was their way of seeking protection during the cold, dark months ahead. Then came the Romans. When they conquered Celtic lands, their traditions blended together. Roman festivals like Feralia, a day to honor the dead, and Pomona, the festival of the goddess of fruit and harvest, merged with Samhain. Pomona's symbol was the apple, which is why bobbing for apples is still a Halloween tradition today. By the Middle Ages, Christianity had spread across Europe, but instead of destroying pagan customs, the Church chose to reshape them. November 1st became All Saints' Day, and October 31st became All Hallows' Eve, which eventually shortened to Halloween. In the 19th century, Irish and Scottish immigrants brought these traditions to America. What started as a night of religious meaning slowly transformed into a secular celebration. Pumpkin carving, costume parties, scary stories. All of these took root during this time. Today, Halloween blends ancient remembrance with modern pop culture. Every carved jack-o'-lantern, every mask, every flickering candle still carries a trace of those misty Celtic nights. But one question still lingers. Is Halloween really just harmless fun? Or does the boundary between the living and the dead still open? Just a little. On this ancient night? Halloween's origins go back thousands of years, but the way this tradition evolved over time is just as fascinating as its beginnings. When the Roman Empire conquered Celtic lands, Samhain traditions began to mix with Roman beliefs. The Romans held a special day called Feralia, honoring the dead. They also worshipped Pomona, the goddess of fruit and abundance. Her symbol was the apple. And it's from this ancient custom that the famous apple bobbing game still played today was born. By the Middle Ages, Christianity was spreading rapidly across Europe. Instead of erasing pagan traditions completely, the Church decided to reshape them. November 1st was declared All Saints' Day, and October 31st became All Hallows' Eve, the evening before the Holy Day. Over time, this name was shortened to what we now know as Halloween. During this period, a custom called souling emerged. The poor would go door to door, offering prayers for the souls of the dead in exchange for food or special soul cakes. This tradition eventually transformed into the modern-day trick-or-treat practice. Masks and costumes also played a crucial role in medieval Halloween. People dressed in frightening disguises to protect themselves from wandering spirits. hiding their identities to avoid being recognized by the dead. In some regions, families would leave food at their doorsteps to appease these spirits, hoping they would pass by peacefully. As time went on, Halloween continued to evolve within different cultures, but the biggest transformation happened in the mid-19th century. Across the Atlantic, immigrants from Ireland and Scotland brought more than just their belongings to America. They brought their old Samhain traditions with them. In the New World, these customs blended with local culture. This is when the famous pumpkin carving tradition was born. In Europe, people had used turnips or beets to carve lanterns, but in America, the large, plentiful pumpkins were perfect. And so, the legend of Jack-o'-lantern took on a new, brighter form. By the early 20th century, Halloween had lost much of its original religious meaning. Children dressed in costumes, knocked on doors, and neighborhoods hosted festive gatherings. In the 1920s and 30s, parades and community parties became common across the United States. However, acts of vandalism sometimes cast a shadow over the celebrations. By the 1950s, Halloween was reshaped into a safer, child-centered holiday, one focused on community and fun. Today, Halloween carries a very different meaning. On one hand, traces of ancient spiritual beliefs remain, and on the other, it's a massive celebration shaped by modern entertainment culture, cinema, television, fashion, and even the economy. In the US alone, billions of dollars are spent each year on costumes, decorations, and candy. Horror movies fill theaters, TV networks schedule special programs, and brands build entire marketing campaigns around this single night. Yet behind all the lights, masks, and festivities, there's still a quiet echo of something much older. A whisper from those cold, misty Celtic nights, when the boundary between the living and the dead was believed to grow thin. Maybe that's why every October 31st, while the streets fill with laughter and costumes, there's also an unspoken sense of mystery lingering in the air. Humanity is celebrating, but perhaps deep down, it's also remembering that ancient night when two worlds almost touched. And maybe the real question is this: is Halloween just a night of fun, or do the spirits of that ancient night still walk among us? For centuries, it has changed, evolved, and taken new forms. But at its core, it has always remained the same. Halloween may look like a night of costumes, glowing pumpkins, and candy-filled buckets today. But behind the lights and laughter lies something far older, a night born from the belief that the dead could walk among the living. From the misty hills of the Celts to the temples of Rome, from the dark, narrow streets of the Middle Ages to the suburban neighborhoods of America. This is a story shaped by humanity's oldest emotions, respect and fear of the unknown, and of death itself. Over time, religions shifted, societies changed, traditions merged and transformed. Pagan rituals intertwined with Christian holidays. The great bonfires for wandering souls turned into candles on porches. Offerings of bread and cakes became candies in children's baskets. And yet, one thing never changed. Every year, on the night of October 31st, people still gather. They wear masks, light their lanterns, and sense, even if only for a moment, that invisible line between this world and the next. Perhaps this is where Halloween's true magic lies. In the way we can laugh and shiver at the same time. Because deep down, somewhere in the shadows of memory, we still remember what this night once meant. Today, Halloween is everywhere, in films, TV shows, music, fashion, and even entire economies. But beneath the glitter and lights, you can still hear the echoes of those ancient Celtic nights. The the night when the veil between the living and the dead was believed to grow thin. Maybe that's why every year as October draws to a close, the world seems to change. It's as if an invisible curtain falls over the cities, and the streets become a stage for something far older than any of us. In the candy buckets of children, in the terrifying masks worn by teenagers, in the flickering candle of a carved pumpkin. There are traces of a tradition that has traveled through thousands of years. Halloween is no longer just a celebration. It's a living bridge between the past and the present. A night where fear, ritual, joy, and remembrance intertwine. And maybe that's why, every year, no matter who we are or where we live, we all pause for a moment and feel that invisible line. Who knows? Maybe out there, in the laughter and costumes, an ancient whisper still lingers. Maybe Halloween is far more than we think. Not just a celebration, but a reminder. And now, as the candles burn out, the masks come off, and the streets grow silent, one question remains. On that night, are we the only ones out there? Or is something or someone walking among us?